is anything but conventional.
Welcome back to MECH again. As you know, I'm Wads, and I'm here again with another deck profile, and I'm real excited about this one too. Anyone who's been following me since my days with Sum 41 knows that I love cars. Cars was my thing since Wave 1. I don't know why I picked cars. It just started working for me, and I just kind of stuck with it. I don't know why I didn't branch out a little more, but anyone who saw my Wave 2 stuff and going forward, you know that Dead Engine is my baby. I love it. And I'm coming at you with a brand new deck profile that I am calling Deader Engine. And it is Wave 4 inclusive, and it is hilarious. I don't know how well it's going to do because I haven't had a chance to play against any of the players at the shop, but in my solo testing, it's done real well, and I've touched it up over the last weekend, and I am real excited to show this for you. Are you excited? Because I'm excited. And with the Energon edition, this is going to be really doable. I know the price point is real high, but I mean, come on, you're going to get Cliff and Slipstream, and together they're averaging about 180 bucks on their own just on the secondary market, and there's no other way to really get them. Not to mention, if you don't have some of these other rare bots from Wave 1, I mean, it's going to price out real nice, not to mention all the other stuff you're getting. You're getting a whole box of Wave 1, which, while I don't necessarily need it, I mean, like, I'm going to say no to some Peace Through Tyrannies and security checkpoints. Another set's always good to have. But on top of all that, you're going to get those cool-looking Energon dice. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to show you Deader Engine. All right, let's start off by taking a quick look at the bot lineup. You guys are very familiar probably by now with my Dead Engine, and the basic starting point is my boy Cliff Jumper. And now with the Energon edition coming, I know the cost is a little steep, but it does make Cliff a lot more accessible to a lot more people. He's a great card. He really defined the meta, as you guys saw at Gen Con, and he's not going anywhere. He's good, but even with cards like Hijack and Caliburst, I still feel like he has a lot of relevance. Now let's go with something a little different. Prowl. Wave 1 Prowl. I think this could actually do a lot of good, and you'll see why this is really important. His Bold 2 is good, and to top it all off, I mean, he's going to have that heal effect. I don't use it a whole lot right now, but there's not a lot of flipping to be done with this deck early game. Only Prowl and Dead End will be getting the flips, and just being able to give people Bold 2, especially with all the untaps, being able to have Bold 2 across your entire team is very important. Now, I also run Drag Strip. Now, normally I used to put more emphasis on taking advantage of his draw effects, but I find that I don't need to anymore. Really, he's almost filler. He still triggers from time to time. It's not as functional as it was in the old Dead Engine, but for 5 stars, he does exactly what I need, and I can always flip him over because he's got that 4 attack and Pierce 1. Now he has 0 defense, but odds are he's probably going to get crunched pretty early anyways. I usually open up by attacking with him first, and I just let him basically be cannon fodder while I let the rest of my team set up. And of course, last but not least, the one thing that makes the Dead Engine function in the way it does, good old-fashioned Dead End. Now, the tough one, not very important, but as you all know, you flip him to bot mode, and you get to draw 2 cards off a Cliff Jumper. And we'll get into how this deck has gotten stronger with the add-on of the battle cards. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump over and start with actions. All right, let's start off with my classic. You're going to guess this is still an aggro deck. And we got 3 Peace Through Tyranny. The odds of me actually playing this card are still relatively low, but the double pips are still good. There are situations where I found, oh, Prowl got smacked down. He's got 1 health left. Let's go ahead and burn him and take 2 attacks to try and whittle down somebody that really deserves it. Or, you know, maybe I need to do that at the end of a tapping phase so I know that I'm going to get that extra attack at the start, and then I can more or less dictate who they're going to have to attack next. Now, of course, playing cars, I'm going to have 3 Start Your Engines. The flip and untap effect is always useful. Cars are famous for untapping, and I love that fact. It is actually quite functional, and I will continue to run this card until I don't have a use for it, or it's no longer usable. Now, taken straight out of wave 4, I have 3 copies of New Orders, and this helps a lot having a third untap effect. Now, I know I could just run Ready for Action and it would untap anybody, but New Orders has that black pip, and that can be good because then my small guys can have just a little bit more function than they used to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say 3 Reckless Charge because aggro deck, not a whole lot to worry about with that respect. Also, 3 Supercharge, Classic, Bold 3, not much to say about that either. Now, straight out of wave 4, I'm adding 3 Fight for Position. I love that card. Orange and black pips. Bold 2. I love bold. And this just helps. Having extra black pips to this deck, like I said, with it being a more bold focus. Not to say that I don't use like grenade launchers also, but having more bold focus, having more black pips means that my guys are going to be swinging for a large chunk of Pierce. Now, the other one that has the orange and black, I'm running 3 copies of Rock Toss. And I know what people are thinking sometimes, why not just run Zap? They don't have to be tapped. Now, I don't care that they're untapped. Now, sometimes I do, but most of the time I'll be able to drop that Rock Toss on someone that's already tapped and just take the kill. But it also has the black pip. Again, flipping extra black pips means that my guys can swing for large chunks of Pierce, and they're just not going to be able to deal with that damage. I've got 2 copies of Brainstorm, and that's because I play a lot of actions. I always play a lot of actions in these decks. I love them, and they're very powerful, and with the draw power in this, I'm always having cards stack up in my hand. So being able to drop, say, a Brainstorm, and then play Start Your Engines as well as a Reckless Charge, or a Supercharge, or whatever, is very good. Now, last but not least, this is one that I was very excited for when I read what it did, and that is Showing Off. This I love because now I can flip Prowl down so everyone gets the bold 2. Now I can play this. He flips and flips back. Now they all have bold 4. That is crazy. Not to mention, oh, I can flip Dead End. I only have 1 action. I really don't have a weapon to play. I'm probably going to attack with, say, Drag Strip anyways. So now I'm going to play Showing Off, flip him down and back up, and draw another 2 cards. That's so much function. And I know it has no pip, but this card has a lot of use. And we're going to get even more into this once we jump over to upgrades. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with upgrades now. I've got 3 Improvised Shield. Again, classic aggro, double pip. Not something I would necessarily play out of my hand unless I had to for whatever reason, like say when I was playing Blaster. But you know me, double pips, big swings, go bold or go home. Again, 3 turbo boosters. That gives me 9 total untaps for my cars. That's great. Now I know I'm running over 40 cards in this deck, but this is still a great card to run. It's a utility, +1 attack, and untapping my cars. There's cars that just don't necessarily need to be flipped, like Drag Strip. So I'm just going to boop, untap. Good to go. I've got 3 grenade launchers right here. Again, classic +4, orange aggro. This card's not going anywhere. It's too good right now. An orange, even in decks like Shockwave, just being able to drop that +4 on a big guy and just swing for the fences is crazy. Now I've got 3 Power Punch. I opted for this card over Erratic Lightning. I know Erratic Lightning gives me 3, but this gives me the chance to suck up more of those black and orange pips, or even just black pips, because I know I have a couple of just plain black pips in here too. And being able to stack that extra Pierce means that that damage is guaranteed. So if I swing with an 8 with Pierce 6, they're definitely taking 6, and I love the fact that they're going to just have to sit there and eat it. Now, I showed you guys Showing Off, and I love the fact that it lets me do extra flips, and that's why I included Kinetic Intensifier Whip. This thing can get crazy. I can drop this on Prowl, I can flip him to car mode, so now he'll have bold 4, and then I can play Showing Off, he'll flip up and down, and now he'll have an extra bold 2 for each of those flips from the whip, and then another bold 2 from himself. That's bold 8, guys. That's a lot of bold. That could be a big hit for such a small guy. He's only 6 stars, and he's swinging for 3 bold 8. That's like wheeljack territory. And then last but not least, I got 2 kinetic converters. This is great, especially early game when I'm doing my setup. I'll drop that on dead end, and then I'll flip him with kinetic converter. Now he's drawing me 3 cards. That's a lot of draw power. And now I can flip him down manually, or even when I flip him down with, say, start your engines, that's another draw. And then I can flip him up and draw another 3 cards. Or I can put this on prowl. Now he's flipping down, providing bold 2 as well as a draw. And then when I flip him up, he's basically dead end. It makes the deck very functional. The setup works very good. And I considered running 3 of each, but I didn't want to include too many white pips, because I have a bad history of going in for a big attack with like bold 8 or bold 5 or bold whatever, and I flip all my white pips. Having a flip where you have, say, bold 7 or bold 8 and 5 or 6 of those cards are white pips, that's a lot of wasted potential. But that's pretty much what I got for you guys. There's no sideboard yet. These decks all are going to have sideboards in progress. I just got to figure out more what I'm expecting for the meta as I play with my guys more and talk more and read more. And I'm just going to keep working on the decks. This is by far and away not the finished product yet. It's had a lot of testing. This is probably going to be what I'm working with for a while, and I'll make improvements on it. But this won't be the final version. I'm always updating things and always finding new ways to make things work. But I want to thank you all for coming out to see me again. You guys are awesome. You all have a wonderful day. And remember, make every card hurt.